What we see in the United States is a very resilient labor market and consumer spending. As a result, good news, we are projecting the US to grow this year by 1.6%. Bad news, it means that the pressure that comes from incomes going up, unemployment being still very, very low, means that the Fed will have to stay the course. And perhaps, in our view, they may need to do a little bit more. We project the actions of the Fed to have an impact, to slow down the economy, and for unemployment to go up to 4.5%. This is still a very strong labor market. So no more we talk a lot about how high, but we talk about for how long, because of this resilience, the strength of the labor market and the economy.
There's a lot of talk about tightening credit conditions thanks to the regional banking crisis in the United States, that may do some heavy lifting for the Fed. But it sounds like you don't think it's going far enough, that the Fed's still got some work ahead.
We don't yet see a significant slowdown in lending. There is some, but not on the scale that would lead to the Fed stepping back. And all I can say is watch the data. If we see in the data that credit is slowing down materially, then of course that would cause the Fed to rethink. I cannot stress enough that we are in an exceptionally uncertain environment. Therefore, pay attention to trends and be agile, adjusting should the trends change.
The financial world has been fixated on the debt ceiling issue. A deal has been cut effectively to reduce spending by $1.5 trillion over a decade. This was somewhat of a Republican win, but should President Biden have been more prudent in using this opportunity to tackle US debt?
We believe that the decision that is taken is actually helpful because more fiscal discipline would help in the fight against inflation. So in that sense, what has been agreed, in the context it was agreed, is broadly speaking a good outcome. Where the problem lies is that repetitive debate around the debt ceiling. In our view, not very helpful. There is space to rethink how to go about it. But the fear is, if you rethink, are you going to let debt rise even further? Not necessarily. Prudent fiscal policy can contain debt. And after all, Congress has a responsibility for appropriations that are not a runaway train in terms of impact on debt. President Biden is handling a fairly complex situation with fiscal and monetary policy having to work hand in hand. Not an easy task, but necessary.